So, um, this is going to be a very short video, a very short podcast. And the ultimate goal of this podcast is to talk a little about the history and some of the services that we offer at Excellent Staffing and Global. Um, Permit me, it's my very first um, um, YouTube podcast. I think I did one with the Twitter platform using the Twitter space to do an audio podcast of this. So this is the very first video podcast on accident stabbing. We are accidents stabbing and global, and the history of this institution cannot be narrated without understanding the history of the funder. My name is Laraman Yonton, and I am the principal and funder of the Excellent Staffing and Global. Um, I personally come with um, close to 10 years of very active and engaged professional experience in business, in the area of strategic program management, in training, in recruiting, as well as in workforce development. In fact, particularly the last 5 years, 5 to 7 years of my professional career history has been tailored to workforce development. And I've had the blessing and the opportunity, I've been fortunate to work with some of the uh, most brilliant um, young people, older youth in the immigrant community, but at the lowest end of the economic ladder. So I've come up and closed um, with some of the social issues that confront the immigrant communities through the work that I have done. And so, with that being said, when it occurred to me that I needed to move on in my political sojourn, I needed to take a leap of faith and start my own work. I thought that um, I will initiate an idea that um, does not just concentrate on running a company for the sole purpose of making profit, but also to ensure that as well as we make profit as a company, as a small business, we are also imparting um, the community. We are also imparting and transforming and shaping new lives. And the way to do that was to expand more on um, part of our services that has to do with workforce development services. And so it was a necessary thing. Now, the Excellent Staffing and Global was started a little over a year ago in May of 2021. Um, and we are not just a niche recruiting and staffing company. In addition to that, we are an employment and workforce development company. And Excellent Staffing and Global scribes on three basic services: the niche recruiting and staffing component of it, the workforce development component of our business, and the training component of our business. So those are the three services that we we offer. Our mission, our vision is to be a premier um, workforce provider of the kind of talents that companies, small and big companies, are looking for. And the way we intend to do that, right? Because most of our focus is to provide services to B2B services that that changes work culture, that enhance and reinforce performance levels at different B2B settings, right, across different companies. So our business model is not to attract individual clients, but to attract businesses that they have gaps, they have staffing needs, and we are able now to develop pipeline of emerging talents, and be able to fulfill those needs. So basically, with the niche recruiting and staffing component of the business, we work with small businesses. We work with businesses in different localities of the city, whether it's in Delaware County or Montgomery County, or what is in Balk County or Philadelphia County, and we help them to fulfill that need, that staffing need, given what the demands are. Um, with the workforce aspect of our business, of the services that we offer, I think by and large, this is where our corporate social responsibility comes in. This is where the impact of what we do um, is felt by the local community, by different populations, especially the immigrant population, of which I belong to. And we are going to partner not just with businesses in this instance, we're also going to partner with the larger community, with the immigrant community, with the city government, be it the Abu Dhabi Township or the Philadelphia city government, albeit the different counties. Delaware, our focus right now has been Delaware, Philadelphia, and Montgomery counties. So we are going to focus and partner in this, develop, sustain partnership with these municipalities, right? We're going to partner with existing infrastructure like the school district to um, to ensure that the impact that we want to have in the immigrant community, the impact we want to have in a larger community. As much as we are focused on the immigrant community, we're focused on the larger community. Is to begin the process through that partnership of pipelining new talents um, that are able to take on high-paying career roles, even at the entry level. So we do that with pipelining recent high school graduates, pipelining older youth who are still struggling within the labor market in landing high-paying jobs, right? And training them, putting them through a very intensive training program. We have two tracks of those training programs. The first track is going to be the the solar installation track, right? Where we're partnering with some of the best and finest professionals and practitioners in the field that will develop curriculum to that effect. And then we train these older youth and recent high school graduates to be able to land the first entry level job at the level of different companies within the solar and green energy sector. And then the second track is data-based administration track. Again, we pipeline these older youth and recent high school graduates to learn, all of the basic tools and techniques as it relates to that, but to be able to learn their first entry level job. Now, why are we so particular about the older youth and the recent high school graduates? The focus has been based on the objective reality of the time, right? If you look at Pennsylvania as a state, you know that studies have shown that over the next 5 to 10 years, the shift in terms of the focus of the economy will be in the green energy sector. Um, so a lot of jobs will be created, but there is a gap as it relates to the kind of skill that skills that are needed to to fill in those roles, right? So there's going to be a huge gap in terms of skills acquisition as it relates to that, and we think it is necessary. So that's one. The second thing is that in proportion to other population, the black slash the immigrant population, um, are not landing high-paying jobs, if I may say it the least, right? Uh, Take for example, in my community, the Liberian immigrant community, most of the jobs that we have, most of the job we land on are jobs in the human service field, right, or the transportation industry. So these are not high-paying jobs, right? So the question is, with this growing need, um, in terms of how the the economic dynamics, the workforce dynamics is going to shift over time. What can we do to prepare our community? What can we do to prepare this population, this minority population of immigrants to now become competitive, right? To start having a pipeline of skills and talent needed for the growing shift and the expansion of, of, of the economy here in Pennsylvania. And more importantly, to start landing high paying jobs. So we think that our services, our workforce development services, um, is timely and in the right direction. And how are we going to, effectuate this as a business, but also use this as a model for giving back to the community at the same time? We are going to invest in establishing a digital literacy workforce training center. Now, we've just added digital literacy, right? If you if you did a survey in the immigrant community, very few um, immigrants, or very few immigrant older youth um, access the the library. Very few immigrant young people have access to opportunity. Take for example the career, the PA career link center, right? The one in the other way I come up and close with it for the most part because I work with immigrants. So the fact that they do not have access to these programs, they do not access the library. Most of the homes do not have computers and those kind of stuff, right? Makes it very next to impossible, if not impossible, for them to have superior skill in terms of the use of technology and other things, right? So it becomes a deficit. It becomes an impediment. So we want to increase the skills level, the level of comfort in the use of the internet and technology. So that digital literacy program is going to be inculcated with the overall intensive training program that are already intended to build the skills and give them new career dimension. So at the end of the 4 months intensive program, you are able to find people that go through that program able to use the computer, able to do search engine optimization, they're able to um, you know open a Word document and draft a an application letter, to develop their own resume, to use Google, effectively, to the extent of enhancing their job hunting, skills and what have you. Because it is very important um, as they go along with that. As much as the program is looking forward to achieve this objective to land them and pipeline them job, but we also need to, ensure that they have those basic soft skills that even outside of the program they are able to, you know, to develop different career targets and find their own jobs, even though the program is set up to help them transition them to job, but it is still very important. And so this digital literacy workforce program is going to do just that. And as much as we are open to the larger community, again, I belong to the immigrant community. So most especially our target will be directed to recent immigrant high school graduates and immigrant older youth, particularly. They are going to go into the two tracks um, for a period of 4 months. And over the period of 4 months, over a period of a year, we're going to be running three tracks, right? And each cycle going to have 20 immigrant, older youth, and recent high school graduates. So within a year time, we were talking about learning 60 immigrant, older youth, and recent high school graduates with um, with jobs, with high paying entry level jobs within the state of Pennsylvania. The importance of all of this is that as much as the labor market evolves, uh, immigrant immigrant population make up a huge chunk of the active workforce as compared to the black Americans and the white Americans. We are the ones who are dedicated to spend long hours on job. We are not, you know, well paid according to the pay structure. And so we are mostly working long, working hard, working overtime, working two jobs, and still at the bottom of the economic ladder. And that's the reality of the day. That is the reality of the day. And so we want to change that reality. We want to change that narrative. And I think Excellent Staffing and Global stands right in the best suited position to help state actors, to help policymakers, to help in a way that we can all champion together a new coast for the minority population in whether it's Delaware County, Philadelphia County, Montgomery County, Bucks County, um, in areas where there is a high concentration of immigrant community. So this has been the history of Excellent Staffing and Global. These are the services that we're going to offer. I purposefully did not talk about our training services. Maybe in part two of this video, this introductory video, I will have the opportunity of talking about our training services. But thank you so much, and continue to tune into our channel for fresh edition of Inside Excellent Staffing, what we're doing, and the different ways we think we can impact our community. Thank you so much.